Hey there. So I just looked at the date. It's 9/16/2025. I have the release date set for my project on the 20th of this month. So that's 4 days. Okay, 4 days of working 12 hours a day. Okay, I hope I can do it. Alright. So, before bed tonight, we're going to do another reading. This one, I just posted a video about me getting to the root cause of the self-worth issue. Oh, I just thought my hair looked funny when I turned. Caught my eye. Me getting to the root of a self-worth issue that I've been kind of uprooting for a couple days now. Oh, makes me feel nauseous. I'm still not fully through it. I'm going to sit with the feelings more after this reading. But because of that, it's inspired me to use the root cause deck. So let's look for the root cause. This might cover several people, so only take the ones that pertain to you. And you're just going to take what resonates as truth. Like if it perks your interest and you're like, oh yeah, I think that's for me. Look into it within yourself. Okay, so these are some root causes of some shadows that might be up for review in you. Unknown cause, intellectualization. Intellectualization is actually, it reminds me of an Aquarius trait. It's actually quite a valuable trait, but you can do it when it's helpful and when you've been discerning on whether it's going to be helpful or not, or you can do it because it's a part of a coping mechanism. And this would be referring to doing it as a coping mechanism. So even though it's a very helpful skill, and I can totally see the value in it, there is a point where you want to balance out the heart and mind, and you also want to make sure you can address suppressed, denied, projected emotions to free yourself from unwanted limitations and repeating habits and things like that. Something else that is causing an issue is a lack mindset. The lack mindset can really come into play when we're trying to manifest something, or if we're just trying to get through every day of life and we have a lack mindset, it means that we are thinking, we're not enough, there's not enough. And if you're going through life thinking, I'm not enough and there's not enough, you're going to be depressed, right? But the depression is really just a chance for you to slow down and think again, because everything that's true, the opposite is also true. So there is enough, you are enough and there is enough. You could never not be enough, and everyone has, something that's enough for them. And I think that the lack mindset was sort of introduced to us as a kind of cultural program through, like, I'm 49 years old, and if you grew up in my generation, you would know that there were starving children on television on the commercials between our cartoons, and there were missing children on milk cartons, and just things that would make you think there's not enough safety, there's not enough, food, there's not enough whatever it takes to actually not let children be harmed. And so this mindset can be tough to break because you have a lot of evidence showing you that it's true. But if you can switch over to a growth mindset, all that means is that you willing to look for a solution. You know there's a solution and you're open to it. Because there really is. Ask and you shall receive, you know? I feel like when I was saying that, I feel like I couldn't quite get to the place I needed to get to with the explanation. You know, I felt like my explanation was very shallow. And I don't always feel that way. So perhaps there is something that you've been not willing to look deeper into because you've written it off as not enough, not good enough, not happening, something like that. And so it's like you're selling yourself short because of your mindset. Okay, and next we have influencing the outcome is hope. All right, here's what I know about hope. Because we vibrate and we experience what we are vibrating. If we are in the vibration of hope, that means usually that we want something that we don't have. We want to create something, we want to experience something, we want something for someone else that is not there now. We hope for it, right? Or we hold ourselves in a place of wishing it was different, wishing that it's possible that it would be different, something like that, right? And actually, if we are in hope, it's very useful if we're hopeless, and then we use some hope to lift ourselves up. If we're in, grief and sadness and shame, and we use hope to get ourselves feeling better, that's a powerful thing. And for that reason, hope is not something that I want to condemn completely. But I will say that when we want to be in the vibration of having something, not hoping for it anymore, but actually living it out, then we have to be in the vibration of already having it. So hope would actually hold us back. You want to graduate into faith. Okay, next one, lighter influence. So it's saying like this might not be too bothersome to you. It might be on a very low level that you do this, but it's talking about perfectionism. Could be holding you back, and it could be the root cause of a bigger issue right now. Like, I just heard you're not willing to settle, but like, are you really... It reminds me of this speaker that I listened to who talked about marriage and how in his culture people are much more like open and forgiving of other people's quirks and flaws, when they make marriages work. Like, instead of making like a laundry list or a checklist of what somebody has to be, you actually just like open your heart and then you be with somebody that you just love, and like they don't have to be perfect, more tolerant, I guess, in a way, but like also he presented that in a way where it's not like you're sacrificing. It's just like you're realistic, because we are humans, and everything that's true, the opposite is also true. So if you're saying like, oh, I don't like this trait, or oh, this is imperfect, it's like, well, from somebody's perspective, it's not that. It's the opposite of that. It's like, you could look at why you have that, why you think that, why are you wanting to perfect? Because sometimes perfectionism is born in, like, from a household where you were not allowed to make mistakes, or where you got severely punished or picked on, or you lost out on something, when it wasn't just right. find out why you have the standards you have. And the standards you have are actually affecting you on a bigger level, but maybe in a very subtle way. Okay, solved. Overthinking. Oh, this is an interesting one because earlier on, I always thought like it was cool that I liked to think. I liked that about myself, and I thought, it's maybe an intellectualization of me as a being that I was doing to myself, thinking, yeah, I like to think, I like to figure things out and stuff. But I came across the concept that thinking, we can be addicted to thinking. Can you believe it? Addicted to thinking. And so overthinking is the root cause of some issue that you have. And assisting is a misunderstanding. So you've had a misunderstanding of something and it's caused you to go on some journey in your life that is having you learn a bunch of things, pushing you out of your comfort zone, challenging you to rise up, challenging you to look at yourself more. But it's all because you had this misunderstanding. This reading is actually saying that this misunderstanding has served you well, but that is what the root cause is of all of these kind of chaotic trials and tribulations that you've been through. It's all based on a misunderstanding, and you're trying to learn that about that. You're trying to bring yourself to the point that you can say, "Oh, I didn't understand that correctly. I didn't understand how that worked. I was wrong." Something like that. Okay. It was difficult to do a root cause reading when I'm so tired, first of all, and also, like, I don't have all the scenarios and the supporting cards, and, like, but I guess I said some things, and those are the things that need to be said. There might be more, you know? Let me just, do another pull on another deck here. Here's the concepts deck. Your environment, shallow. How this affects you, justice. So, say that last root cause reading was all for one person, and it's like, the thing you're trying to learn, the misunderstanding, like, it has to do with you staying on a shallow level. An underlying issue, relax. Yeah, it's like you were a little bit too relaxed on thinking that it didn't matter. Change is needed, expired soul contract. So you've outgrown a situation and it's time to let it go. What helps when you get triggered? What hinders that you use the chaos as a way to stay excited for life? Yeah, I just heard like you've been creating chaotic situations so that you can avoid yourself and distract from what is really important and what needs to be looked at within. You may be even using your mind to avoid a bunch of things, telling yourself a story about how it is when it's actually not that way. It's a misunderstanding. And maybe sort of settling for something because you don't think you can have the thing you want. Yeah. This is like kind of the person who's like, I can't get what I want anyway, so it doesn't fucking matter what I do. Like, I'm not gonna win in this anyway, so whatever, I'll cause a little mess on my way out. Something like that. Okay, let's. Now I'm getting excited for this. Now I understand. It's like more of a cohesive reading than for individual people on each card. So I'll read it that way. And now I'm going to just do the advice deck. Supportive resources. Slow down. Change is needed. Patience. Because you've been go, 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 right? This chaotic situation that you're in, that you've just been kind of flowing in the excitement of it. It's a distraction method. It's a way to distract from what's really needs to be seen so that you can actually clear up the misunderstanding and learn all of what you needed to learn. What am I releasing? Integrity. Interesting. I would say you're releasing all the places that you're out of integrity. Integrity is acting in line with your own values, acting in line with what's important to you. What to surrender? The environment. Yeah, that other reading, what did it say about the environment? Shallow. So the environment you're in is supportive of you staying in this shallow way of being. So it's kind of saying you can release that or surrender any need or way of coping that you're, getting out of staying in that. It's so hard to talk right now. This is weird for me, so this has to be part of the reading. It's like a feeling of exhaustion, but also frustration with not being able to express. And then we've got the fifth house is the opportunity, which is expression, which is, happiness, excitement, romance, children, but creativity and self-expression too. So this is a hard thing for you to do. Maybe because you want it to be perfect, so you're willing to not do it at all if you don't think you can do it perfect, something like that. Action to take, 11:11. Your soul is calling you. Whatever you're thinking this is about is what it's about. I kind of want to say you're in a situation where it was kind of like a side quest to what your soul's wanting to do, but the side quest was there because you had a misunderstanding that needed to be cleared up. But you actually have a path that's waiting for you to get back on it. It's just like, finish up this side quest because you're not done here. It's not all is lost. You feel like there's lack, you feel like there's not enough, you feel like there's no point because you've been in a side quest which was probably not very pleasant, but it's because all the misunderstandings that you needed to clear up would be poked in that situation where you'd be like, oh, 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 and then it's like, with that cleared up, you get back on track to what your sort of mission is, what your goal is here in this lifetime. Heart of the matter, Aquarius. And we talked about intellectualization as a nice skill that Aquarians have. And this intellectualization that you're doing is at the heart of whatever this is, the misunderstandings. Influencing on a practical level, a new cycle. Influencing on an emotional level, Ophiuchus. Interesting. Okay, so Ophiuchus is that zodiac sign that was like, are we going to add this in? And it's not been added in to the typical 12 zodiac signs. Ophiuchus is that other sign. And so I feel like that's how you feel about the emotional body with regard to this. It's like that other foreign thing that no one really has to pay attention to, but it's like saying no, some people pay attention to it. Some people pay a lot of attention to it. And others don't. But like, that is influencing you here. The practical level new cycle thing is about like, you've gone through this cycle many, many times on your side quest, and another cycle of the side quest is about to begin. So all it takes to exit that cycle is to decide. Opportunity, side reel. Side reel is another window to look at astrology from. And it's asking you to look at something from a different point of view. You are now able to see something with a different perspective. But I think that you might be ignoring that because you've already given up based on the surroundings and what you think about the lack mindset, or what you think with the lack mindset. So hopefully this reading would give you a little bit of hope, but understand, I guess, from the reading, that hope, if you've always been using hope, hope isn't going to get you all the way there. You know, you got to actually like learn the things, dissect the stuff, dig into your psyche, make the decisions, clear up the misunderstandings, take responsibility, be brave. It takes courage to get out of the loop. Yeah. The challenging factor is Clytia. Clytia is a mythology about blind desire and unrequited love. There's something you love that does not love you back. And you know why? It's in the shallow environment that you're in. Balance out water emotions. Okay? You gotta balance out your emotions. By looking at something from a different point of view. What's those root causes again? Yeah. It's not all or nothing. Drop the black and white thinking and let yourself go into the shades of gray. There is nuance here. And if you're not paying attention to that, if you're not allowing nuance to exist here, that's part of what the issue is. You know, intellectualization doesn't always catch on to nuance. Nuance is sometimes a felt thing because it's a very subtle vibration. It's not like black and white. It's not like a fact or a not a fact. It's like a, oh, the wind just brushed a piece of my hair across my cheek and I barely felt it. Was it a bug? Was it a piece of hair? You know, was it a spider web? Like, if I slow down, I know that it was a piece of hair in the wind, right? But if I'm intellectualizing, you know, maybe my mind starts thinking of all the possibilities and I start to like spiral out in my thoughts because it could be any of those things, right? So because we had overthinking here. I just heard you may have solved overthinking with using cannabis. You know, to be honest, I think cannabis can be a very good medicine. I'm not saying whether you should or shouldn't, but I think in my own experience that I used to be a daily user and I haven't been now for like, I don't know, 3 years, something like that. I've been off of it, and I recognized the good medicine that it is, because what it did was it allowed me to start working on my issues one at a time instead of being overwhelmed. Because I was too overwhelmed in the beginning because I had a lot to process. You have a lot to process. That's why it's saying to slow down and be patient with yourself. Like, you're not going to solve this overnight. But, like, look at where you are out of your integrity. What's important to you, and where are you acting in ways or doing things that are against that? Because you'll find them in your environment. Because your environment has you acting on a very shallow level, and that is supported by the intellectualization of everything. Of everything. I think you even intellectualized the story for yourself to live in excitement in amongst the chaos that mostly you are creating for yourself. Mm-hmm. That might be hard to hear. It's not meant to hurt you. You know, this is just a hard-hitting message. That's what this is. But, like, you have a spiritual mission here. You have something to do. And I just heard that song. Please don't make me sing. Wake up. Time to go put on a little makeup. Who sings that? But yeah, like, wake up. Like, slow down, be patient with yourself. This isn't to beat you up. This isn't to say you've even done anything wrong. If this is how many cycles you went through on the side quest, then this is how many you needed. But now, here we are with kind of a message that says, like, hey, woo-hoo, let's give you a bigger picture view so you can just see yourself here in this. And if you need to still go for that other cycle, just looking at all the places you get triggered, or where you've been bypassing, where you've been distracting, where you've been telling yourself this when it's actually that. You know? Go through the cycle again very slowly if that's what's right for you. Surrendering each aspect of the shallow way you've been engaging with life. It can be intimidating to step into all and the limitless possibilities that exist. So it's understandable when we keep things small, right? When we tell ourselves these stories and we intellectualize. And I think the mind can be a really good anchor into reality. But, like, that's what it is. It's anchoring you into a reality that you are going to live out. So if you have put yourself in the position of, like, oh, it's not worth it anyway because it's not enough, I'm not enough, it's never going to work out, I'm not going to have what I want, so I might as well fuck off, then that's what you're going to live out. But, like, maybe you were living that out for a while so you could find out some things about it. Maybe you wanted to experience the contrast of what your real potential is before you finished it, so you would really appreciate it by the time you got there. So you'd really be an example of someone who didn't give up, of someone who actually pulled themselves out of a tough situation in order to go for something that was in line with who they really are and what's important to them. Okay, anything else here? I'm just looking at my other decks, and I think the dark and light, dark or light. Okay, your perception, presence. Your intention, assess values. Yeah, what is important to you? Your actions, it is out of your control. That's why you're being asked to surrender in your environment. You can't change that environment. You're the only one who can change. Your thoughts, you're in a healthy low, meaning, yeah, you might not be feeling so great. Yeah, there are some things bothering you, but like, it's healthy to be with these feelings right now. It won't last forever. Your conclusion, well, right now you still are resisting some things. Your feelings and your integrity. Okay. Your feelings. You're in your integrity about your feelings. So perhaps you've just admitted to yourself some things here. You're looking at what's important to you now. You're letting yourself feel some things that may be very uncomfortable to feel. It's okay that you've been resisting some and that you're going to, do one at a time, so some still may be resisted. Because remember, have patience, take this slow. And all there is to do is to surrender to this process that you're in. You're doing really well, I would say, overall. According to the darker light, you are balanced, Inner critic represented, completion of a cycle. How do you sabotage self? You're strategic. What do you tell yourself? You tell yourself that you have everything you need. What is the truth? That's a mask. How can you love yourself more? Oh, hidden enemy gossip. I guess you can stop gossiping. Hold yourself to a higher standard. Higher self-view. You're about to step into a new life. You've never had this one before. This is something completely different. Even the way you're approaching your emotions is completely different. And it's not something everyone else will understand necessarily. Okay, I feel like it's only right to do a self-care spread now. We're at 33 minutes, okay? You're doing well with either giving or getting hugs. Add more being honest. So that's with yourself and others. Where do you need to be honest? Too much dance. Interesting. I think that means like dancing around the topic. Dancing around the truth, something like that. Let yourself have a shower, relax. Give away celebration. So let other people celebrate without you. Don't let fear of missing out keep you in an old cycle that you've outgrown. And then solution, persevere. Yeah. And that's persevere through the new beginning, right? It's going to be uncomfortable because you're not in the habit of it. Persevere with the feelings, be present with what you need to. I would say you're doing great. Okay, I'm going to stop this now. What do you think? Any questions?